Hey y'all, I'm Hope. Welcome to another weekend vlog. It is Thursday morning, and I usually count this as weekend because it's like close enough anyway. Not like 4 days is a good amount of time for me to vlog. It works well for me, so we're just gonna keep doing it. But I'm trying to get back into the habit of doing this because I haven't been weekend vlogging throughout most of late June, early July, because I had a lot of stuff going on with like people visiting and then family stuff, and I just have not had free weekends to be vlogging or weekends where I was doing things that were interesting to vlog. Other than last weekend was kind of cool, but my friends were here and they didn't want to be on camera, so I was not gonna like push them to do that at all. But we did go yarn crawling and we got some cool stuff. I got some yarn that's in the other room, but I also got this like fun yarn ball. Anyway, this is a very rambly opening to this vlog. This weekend, I don't have anything currently like planned. I'm gonna be working on my thesis some more. I got some more feedback, and I think I'm in the last round of my edits on this first thesis because my advisor wrote back and said like there's a few spots where I could see some space for unpacking things a little more, you know, fixing some of my transitions, things like that. There's one little bit where she suggested I read a little bit of Aristotle and maybe include that as a perspective. But other than that, she wrote that she thinks that it was looking really good, and she thinks I'm about ready to move on to my second thesis paper and like kind of finish up this one, set it aside, and move on to that second one. So I'm feeling really good about that, and I just have like a little bit to do. I think I have like 7 comments to address, or 6 comments, something like that. Aside from my thesis stuff, let's talk about what I'm gonna be reading, because my weekend plans are to finish up some things I've already started. So right now my 2 current reads are She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan, which I've been reading since like last December. I love this book. Every time I pick it up, it is just so engaging, and I remember exactly where I'm at, what the characters are doing, what's going on, and I really love all of the characters. They're very morally gray. I wouldn't say there's any like good guy here, but there's very clearly like a protagonist and an antagonist, and the ways that they relate to each other are fascinating. I'm really just enjoying the relationships here. I'm enjoying the like politics and scheming and maneuvering that's happening, and I love everything about this book. So it's really silly that I haven't yet finished it. So I'm like halfway through, and I'm gonna try and finish this weekend, because I also just got an arc of the sequel, He Who Drowned the World, which comes out at the end of August. So I want to go ahead and finish this and start on that arc so that I can have that read and that review up before it comes out on the 21st, I think. 21st sounds right to me. I might be wrong on that, but I'll put it on the screen somewhere if I find out that I'm wrong. Anyway, that's the one thing I'm reading, and then I also have just started the new Riley Sager book, The Only One Left, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm like 25% in, and it's reminding me a lot of some of his other work, but it feels like if he sticks the landing better in this one, I could like this one a lot more. There's elements of this book that are reminding me a lot of Home Before Dark, and there's also some pieces that are reminding me a little bit of Lock Every Door. Home Before Dark I liked, I just thought the ending was convoluted, and then Lock Every Door I really didn't like. So I'm curious to see how I'm going to feel about this one, because it is reminding me so much of those 2 other books of his. But I have it as an audiobook, and there's like a bunch of people waiting for it at my library, so I am trying to get that one finished up so I can turn it back in. So I listened to it about just through work yesterday. I listened to about 25%, and I feel like getting through the rest of it is probably doable in the next day or so. So that is the plan. It is currently, I'm starting work. I'm like waiting for my computer to finish loading up and everything. I gotta play a game of log into everything 50 times, and I'm gonna do my work hours, and then this afternoon I'm gonna try and work my thesis a little bit and do some reading. And that's kind of where we're at. That's the plan for the weekend. It's just gonna chill, do some thesis work, do some reading, hopefully knock out some of these things that I've already started, and I'm starting with those too, just so I can have those, you know, turn back in the library, finish so I can read an arc, etc. Well, work just ended. It's been 4 hours. I work 4-hour shifts in my assistantship position, and I am now at the 76% mark. I have it open here so that I can see it. I'm at the 76% mark of The Only One Left, and I am having a lot of fun with this one. It is definitely taking some elements that were present in Home Before Dark and Lock Every Door, and I think doing them even better. Like, I really liked the structure of Home Before Dark. I'm about to mix up those titles, just making it a 1 book. I really liked the structure of Home Before Dark and the kind of alternating perspectives. I felt like the mystery in that one was really fun. I didn't love the ending of Home Before Dark, but I liked a lot of the other elements, so I'm really enjoying the way that that structure is being used here with the like alternating sections of the main character Kit, her perspective, and then Lenora's like writing of her side of the story. I'm really enjoying that alternating structure, and the two timelines I think are really interesting, and I think the mysteries are really good. I keep changing my mind about what I think is actually happening, but I now do have a theory about what I think is happening. I don't know if I'm right, obviously, because I haven't listened to the end yet, but I have a theory about what happened in 1929 when Lenora's life kind of completely changed when she was accused of this murder. I think maybe I know what's happening. I'm not sure yet, but I have a sneaking suspicion that I know who the culprit is. I think this may end up being kind of a wild ending again, but so many other wild things have happened that I think I would, at this point, as long as it's like foreshadowed well, I think I'll be okay with it having kind of a wild ending, because that was the thing I really liked in The House Across the Lake, which I know I'm kind of the odd one out on that opinion, that I really liked The House Across the Lake, and I like the ending is kind of crazy and has like a bunch of different twists, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm like hopeful that this one is going to stick the landing as well. The other thing that I was thinking about is I really like the relationship between Kit and Lenora in this, and the kind of parallels that are drawn between them. I think that that's really fun and is making kind of the unraveling of the mysteries even more complex, because there's a lot of pieces where you start to see parallels between these two characters, and Kit is having to grapple with like the implications of those parallels and how that influences their relationship and how it influences the way that she feels about the job that she's doing. I don't know if there's going to be more of a twist at the end with her backstory, because she does have an interesting backstory, but I'm just curious to find out. So I've got 3 hours left in the audiobook, so that's going to be about an hour and a half of listening. I've been listening at 2 times speed, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and finish this while I get some lunch, and I will check back in when I am done, because I'm really excited to see how this one wraps up. Well, I just finished the only one left, and like, all I can really say is like, wow, that was even better than I was anticipating. I think for most of the book I was kind of thinking, oh, I think I'm gonna give this a 4-star. There's a few points where Kit, the main character, is a little waffly on stuff, like she'll go to do something to find information and then suddenly decides she doesn't want that information and then kind of backtracks, and I found that a little bit frustrating at points. So I was thinking, okay, maybe like a 4-star here, and then I got to the end. And I think my usual issue with Riley Sager's books that I've had with his previous works is that you'll get to the end and there's twists that are like not foreshadowed at all, or they just don't make any sense, or they're really convoluted, and this one didn't have that. I felt like all of the twists at the end, because if you've read some of his other books, you may know that he does often like multiple twists back to back at the end of his books. Especially The House Across the Lake has that. So there's multiple twists at the end, but I felt like when I got to them, I'd kind of seen some of them coming, but I hadn't seen all of them coming. But when I got there, it all felt well foreshadowed. Like I could see the trail of breadcrumbs that led to that conclusion. And I was really impressed with how well that was done. And I just enjoyed this like so much more than any of his other books. I had a great time listening to this. I think the ending is really good. It's a really fascinating story of like people who are caught in a web of, I want to say lies, and it's partially lies, but it's also that they're trapped by family expectation and by the social mores at the time, because the original timeline takes place in the couple of weeks leading up to the market crash that began the Great Depression. And so you've got kind of that timeline. So there's a lot of expectations on the characters in that timeline because, you know, they're wealthy people in the pre-Great Depression days, literally right before the Depression. And the kind of expectations placed on them for their conduct and how they interact with other people and what kind of relationships they form. And that is a big element. So there's that bit with the like social mores, but also the family expectations that like the Hope patriarch is very strict and has, you know, a sense of what their lives should be like, and so he makes a lot of decisions based on that. And so there's kind of that, but you also get that in the modern timeline. Modern, it's set in the 80s, or possibly 90s. I think I did the math and it was like in the mid 80s. Kit also is dealing with like family expectations and social pressure because she's been accused of something as well. And so I really liked the way that that was so important to the story. I felt like that was well done, and it made the ending like really, for me, emotionally impactful and difficult. I think there's several twists that are really sad, but the way that the story is about these people who made bad decisions, they found themselves trapped in these situations dictated by social mores and family expectation, and they've made harmful decisions that hurt other people to save themselves. And I think there's this element of them having to reckon with that and try to make up for the harms that they have caused that I think is really good. And I thought it was really well done. I just had a lot of fun listening to this. Like, overall, this is a really fun thriller. I think it leans more into mystery than thriller. It's not really thrillery until like right near the very end, but it's very heavy with mysteries, and I think that it's just a really fun book. So I'm really glad I read this, and I am actually going to be looking forward to Riley Sager's next book. Happy Friday. It's Friday morning at the moment, and I didn't end up doing any other reading yesterday. I read like 4 pages of She Who Became the Sun, so like not even really worth talking about, but I read, you know, the tiniest little bit, and I did manage to accomplish addressing a couple of the comments on my thesis. I did get a few of those done. I think I have 3 left I need to address besides the Aristotle stuff I need to do, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. I feel good about having made some progress there. So I'm probably going to do another chunk of that this afternoon. And then what's the other thing I did? Oh, I started the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles with a friend of mine. We played through the Ace Attorney trilogy. She's already played all 5 of these games. I'm just now playing them, and so she has been joining me via SharePlay, and I've been experiencing these games and talking to her about them. So I finished the Ace Attorney trilogy a few weeks ago, and now I'm starting the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and I'm liking it so far. It is very weird to see animation though, because this game has like character animations and animated cutscenes and things that the originals don't really have in the same way, and I'm enjoying seeing the differences. I think this one's much slower paced than the trilogy was, at least in the first kind of tutorial case it really is, but I'm enjoying it so far, and I'm curious to see what I'm gonna think about these 2 games in comparison to the original trilogy, because they seem to be very different. I have book mail. It just arrived. I knew this was coming today, but this was a book that I read as an ARC, so I thought I would go ahead and open it. Also, because I keep mentioning the yarn crawl, but I didn't show anything from it, I brought in the yarn that I bought from that because it was a lot of fun, and I think it's really pretty, and I think everyone should have to see it. So we're gonna look at yarn too. But I just got my copy of Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and I gotta say, I wasn't expecting the cover to have like reflective metallic lettering. I just thought it was gonna be like a flat gray, but that's so cool. Unexpected, really like that. I just read an arc of this last month, I think, or yeah, I think it was. Time is a Fiction, and I can never remember what month it is, but I read an arc of this last month and absolutely loved it. I've enjoyed everything I've read from Silvia Moreno Garcia, but I think if you liked Mexican Gothic, you're going to like Silver Nitrate as well. This is a very slow, character-driven, very historical horror novel that has lots of like occult elements that I think are really fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this one, so I was excited to get my own copy, and I'd already pre-ordered it, so I'm excited that it's finally here. Thank goodness for spare batteries. At least it makes it very quick to swap when it starts to flash at me. So I have my little bag of yarn here. I bought some other things that weren't yarn. I just want to grab the other thing because it's really cute. One of the yarn stores my friends and I went to was doing something different than the other ones, so most of them were this year trying to highlight indie dyers, and the local yarn store for me, we only went to 2 stores. We went to one that's 1 town over, and we went to our local one, and our local store was highlighting indie creators instead, and so she had like some ceramic yarn bowls. I think I showed this already, but my, you know, bit too pearl too for her pleasure. It's very fun. It's a yarn bowl, so it's got the like hook on this side so that you can keep your yarn from escaping. I'm currently keeping my garter snake hat in it, which try not to mess up everything on my desk. Very pleased. Kind of hard to see, it's not getting a lot of light. Let's see if we can move the book stack. if that helps. Maybe now? Get some of that good outside sunlight? Kind of. This is a brioche hat. So it's got some ribbing and then it's brioche, and then on the other side there is this triangle that's just garter stitch. And so the triangle grows until everything is in garter stitch. But I love knitting 2-color brioche, and I really am liking how these colors are coming together. So that's what I decided to keep in this bowl. Convenient to have like a little yarn ball on my desk. And then the other thing, that was the one thing I bought at my local yarn store. And then the other thing I got was this adorable little avocado bookmark. It's like a tiny crochet. Let's see if I can get him to focus. Do the beauty influencer thing. There he is. It's like a beautiful little avocado. It's so cute. And just, I love it. It's adorable. And so I bought a couple of things there to support my local yarn store, but also some of the local creators that she was highlighting. So that was what I got at that store. But the first one we went to was actually the one in the town over, and that was where I bought all the yarn that I wanted to get. And so I first of all bought 2 skeins of Malabrigo because I really like Malabrigo. It's a pretty cost efficient, in terms of like nicer yarns, it's pretty cost efficient. And also I just love their colors. They have great colors, and I'm trying to buy more tonals. My friend and I were talking about this. We both have a tendency to buy like variegated and striped yarns and speckled yarns, but I want to get some more tonals because I've been finding some cool color work patterns I want to try. I love both of these together, and I'm going to make the halibut cowl by, oh gosh, what's her name? Caitlin Hunter. I'm gonna make the halibut cowl with these because I think that's a fun pattern. I think it's just like silly. It's like a fish, it's a fish cowl. And I also unironically say just for the halibut all the time. So I think it'll be really fun. And I'm gonna use this as the background color and then this for the color work because I think that'll be really striking. So I got those 2. And then I also bought a skein of Manastil Uruguay Alegria, which I think is really pretty. This is more of a variegated. It's got like 3 to 5 inch color sections. Let's see if I can. This one's easy to just kind of like pull out and show the colors. I just think it's so pretty with the pinks and the purples, and it's kind of aqua-y color. Some of these color sections are longer, some of them are a little shorter, but I think what I'm going to do with this is the conflagration scarf. I can't remember the creator's name for that one, the pattern designer, but I'm planning to make the conflagration scarf, which is made to use these kind of shorter, not striping color changes. And I think it's gonna be so much fun. It's such a cool looking scarf. So that's one of the other things. It's gonna be on my to make list soon. Not as good as I want to be at rescanning these. And then this very last one was dyed by the owner of the store there. And this is called Middle Earth. And it's lots of like beautiful neutral tones. There's like a really deep blue and some pretty orange in it. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Please do not focus on my face. There we go. Took a break from my desk and my computer just to get away, stop looking at things close up for a little bit. I decided to sit down and play a little Final Fantasy. I've started Final Fantasy 15 because the last time I tried to play it was back in 2019, so I no longer remember what happened. So I restarted it. Been playing that for the last like couple of days, so like a little bit here and there. Full intentions of getting up and working on my thesis. However, there's a little guy. There's just a little guy. He came and sat down on my lap just as I was getting ready to get up, so, just gonna stay here for a while, I suppose. He's got a buddy over there, too. Happy Saturday. My mom and I went and got brunch, so we just got back from that. It was really nice. We have this place that we really like to go downtown that has like really, really good brunch food, and they have some like baked goods and things there too. They have like a little bakery and really tasty, but we went and got breakfast there and just got back from that. She went to go to the local farmer's market and see if they have any good fruits and veggies for the week. And I have a headache, so I've come back to take some medicine. Otherwise I probably would have gone with her to the farmer's market. but I have taken some ibuprofen and hopefully that will kick in soon. It's not a bad headache, but this is very typical for me this time of year. I'm allergic to all of the seasons. I would love to say that I have seasonal allergies, but I'm simply allergic to all of them. So it was very stuffy this morning, which typically a sign that I might get a headache later. So anyway, catching it early, I think it should be fine, and I am mostly pretty good to go. Like, I don't feel awful, I just have like the tiniest bit of a headache, and I'm hopefully heading it off with a pass. So today I am planning to do a couple of things. One, obviously work on my thesis, and then two, I really want to make some more progress on this hat, because I'd like to finish this one. This lighting is terrible in here for this. There we go. Just because I love it, we have to show it again. I'd really like to finish this hat by August 15th, which is the first day of classes, and it is also the day that a Mystery Knit Along I want to participate in is starting. So I did go ahead and buy the pattern for that Mystery Knit Along, which means I'll get the clues as they come out, and it's just a 3-week one. It's for a shawl, and I probably won't finish it in that time, but it's by a designer whose other work I've really loved. She has some beautiful shawls that she's designed, so I'm very excited for it. And that's starting on the 15th, so I'd like to be able to actually participate in that on the 15th, and I need to finish some other things before that. I have one shawl that I'm thinking I started that I might frog, because I started it many years ago now. I want to say I started it pre-pandemic, and I have knit a lot since the pandemic started. My skills have improved a lot. My gauge has changed quite a bit. The way that I put tension on the yarn has changed. I'm not kind of the same death grip on the needles kind of knitter that I was before. So I have this shawl that I started that, don't mind me talking out of frame. I have this shawl that I started that I'm thinking I might frog and either start over or use the yarn for something else. But I just haven't worked on it in a really long time. And last time I came back to it, I was like, my gauge has changed quite a bit, and I could really tell where I had started like the next piece. I haven't quite decided yet if I'll frog it or not. Well, I did decide to frog the shawl, and now it is in this beautiful little yarn cake. I love the colors here. I did cake this twice because if you do that, you take some of the tension off of it. I learned the hard way you shouldn't leave yarns caked for too long, and especially not if it's the first time you've caked them like straight from the like twisted hank to a yarn cake, because you tend to do that very tightly and then the yarn loses elasticity. You can recover some of it by, especially if it's wool yarn, soaking it really well and letting it dry. I did that, managed to rescue a couple of yarns that I had stretched out, but I'm trying to be much more careful with my good yarns now. So I have caked this twice. It has that little bit of ramen noodliness to it from being a sock blank originally. I don't know if it's gonna, there we go. It's got that kind of like squiggliness to it from being a sock blank, but it is such a beautiful yarn and it's really soft, and I'm looking forward to restarting that with my new and improved skills sometime down the road. But I just have been sitting on that one for so long. It's been on the needle since like 2019, I think. It was one of the earlier projects that I started, and my skills have improved so much since then, and it's gonna feel better to restart it and be happy with the product that I'm making. So that is done, and I now have the needles I need for the knit along that starts in a few weeks. Well, my headache lingered into pretty late in the evening. In fact, I still had a headache when I went to bed. So I didn't get anything done yesterday. I tried and I just couldn't focus on any one thing, kind of bounced around between a few things. Did some looking at my thesis, reading through it, trying to come up with something. I just could not get my brain to work on that. A little bit of reading, I finished the chapter I was on, and then I did a little bit of knitting, and that's pretty much it. So today we're going to visit family, and we're gonna go do that very soon. We'll probably be back sometime around like a little after dinner time or so. So I'll probably have some time this evening to try and chip away at some stuff. But this has definitely not been the productive weekend I was anticipating. I mean, that's okay, it's not the end of the world. My thesis doesn't actually have currently a hard deadline on it. I haven't even like discussed a general deadline with my advisor yet. I just got the feedback back and was reading through it and kind of working on it. So not the end of the world that that's not done, and I obviously want to finish She Who Became the Sun, but again, it's not the end of the world, and I'm going to keep reading this through the week if I don't get to it today. Well, instead of farm cat content, my aunt decided she wanted to get out of the house because she hasn't been anywhere much lately. So we ended up going to World Market and going shopping. So I have some things that I got. First of all, I got a little mushroom mug, and I'm gonna have to put a picture in here because I just put it in the dishwasher, so I don't have it to show off. But I got a cute little mushroom mug. And I think there is very obviously going to be a bit of a theme with the stuff that I got. But I just got some small stuff. And I got this like adorable little snail. He's an incense burner, so he's got little holes in his head for that. But I actually just want to put this on my shelf over here because I thought he was adorable. And then I picked up some school supplies. So I got a new pencil pouch because the one I've been using is metal, and it's really annoying. Everywhere I walk, it clanks really loudly, and it's just not really serving my needs well. So I am gonna try out this one. It's a notebook pouch that's got like a little strap so you can put it on your notebook. It's got little mushrooms on it. And then I got a couple of small notebooks to use for my classes this semester, including one that matches the pouch. And then this one I thought was cool, it has flowers and a little snail on it. So that was what I bought at World Market so that I am prepared for the semester. Got some school supplies and then a little guy in a mug. So it was a fun day. We just kind of decided to hang out and, you know, bum around, do some shopping. And then we met my uncle for dinner at Olive Garden because he likes Olive Garden and he did not want to go to Cracker Barrel, which is the other place we considered. So we did that and it was nice. So all in all, a good day. I did not do much reading at all today, and I'm probably not going to do a lot this evening. I am in fact just going to crash for the rest of the evening and hang out and then try to get some sleep because I've got to go to campus bright and early for work tomorrow. So gonna go do that. But that means that this is where I'm gonna leave this vlog. It would still feel like a successful weekend in terms of finishing at least one book, and I made a little bit of progress on She Became the Sun as well. But since I finished the only one left, I got one of my goals done for the weekend. And my thesis, it's not the end of the world that I didn't get it all done because I don't actually have a set deadline for that right now. So I'm gonna keep chipping away at that this week, and I will hopefully have it done by the weekend, but we will see. I'm not gonna like put a huge amount of pressure on myself for that because I still need to like schedule a meeting with my advisor and all that good stuff. So it's not the end of the world. But anyway, that is where I'm gonna leave off for this weekend vlog, and I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, I hope you'll consider giving it a like, maybe even subscribing to see what comes next. I'm currently posting every Tuesday and Saturday, so there's more content coming soon, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.